The two main ones is wushu, which is completely performance-oriented. So it'd be like a figure skating routine or gymnastics floor routine mixed with martial arts, right? And it has its practical uses, but it's so many generations and evolutions away from it that it's honestly it's all trick. So it's mostly acrobatics with some martial arts, foundation. The other one is called Wing Chun, and it's the complete opposite. It's utterly the first thing that I was ever told about. It's like you don't perform this, because it looks stupid. But it's very practical. So for practicality, I will say confidence is the biggest thing. So if you're ever attacked, self-defense, the first thing that you need to learn as a victim is that you can fight back, right? Because if you ball up, you're just waiting for it to end, and if you're an attacker with this grain of salt, you're not going to stop until you get what you want. So you have 0% chance of winning because it's all defense, and if this is Pokemon, you're likely to go a little bit down every time until it goes to 0. So you can't do that. So the best thing to do, any chance, is you have to strike back, right? Even if you think you have no chance, it's down the center. You go for the eyes, you go for the nose, you go for the jaw, you go for the throat, you go for the solar plex, you go for the crotch, right? All down the list. These are all the vulnerable spots, right? So you have to attack. Once you get, use your elbows, use your knees, those things, you just kind of turn your whole body into it. And as soon as you get out of opening, you run away. Like even learn to run. That's your most valuable skill. And honestly, even as an accomplished martial artist of any kind, like, yes, you can fight, yes, you can defend yourself, but the thing you learn is that you shouldn't fight ever, right? You learn to fight so you don't need to. I was a very aggressive kid when I grew up. I got into fights like every day at school. It was terrible. And once I learned martial arts, I finally convinced my mom, let me do it. And I thought I was going to be even more violent. I was like I'm totally going to be so much better at getting into fights. But it was the exact opposite, right? After I got, at a decent level, I just totally chilled out. And I haven't even gotten a fight since. Something's wrong. So, in terms of regular stuff, I was also in circus school when I was growing up. My mom put me literally everywhere. So the first thing that actually helped, this was the thing. So they taught me how to do a proper cartwheel, and that translated through everything. It's what gave me the motivation to keep going with martial arts, because one of the moves we had to do was a no-handed cartwheel. And I learned that really quickly because I had good, solid cartwheel as a foundation, and this was from circus school. And so, if you want to do any performance-based stuff, cartwheel is probably the first thing you should learn. And it's very simple. The proper gymnastic one, you just go forward and you do that. And if you want to do a no-handed, I retired like 4 years ago, so I probably shouldn't do it. But what you have to do is you just jump. And you run. Maybe I'll do it for karaoke tonight. I'll do it during my song. I'll make it work.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to hear you.
All right, not a problem.
Hi, Osric. Hi. I've said this to you before, but I just want to say thank you for interacting with us so much. We really appreciate it. I think you're great. My question is about your character. Now that Metatron is back, or he's here, he's kind of back in the game, and I was wondering if you think that Kevin might lose any of his prophetic powers because of that?
I don't know if he loses powers, but as of last episode, it's like, well, your job's done. So I wonder what they're going to do with it. I mean, we have 2 more episodes, so let's see what happens. In terms of next season, I have absolutely no idea. I don't know if they do. I don't know. Kevin's a tricky character because it's like, okay, his purpose is done. I can't say anymore. Now that's done. I think that's all I can answer without giving anything away, I'm sorry.
And I'm supposed to remind you to call out Amy.
Oh, that's right. Where is it?
Where's Amy?
Amy, raise your hand.
No. Yes.
I'll find you next. Hello.
Hi. So you once said that you kind of wish that Kevin would die because you felt left out. So I was wondering if you could have any sort of fantasy death scenario, what would it be?
Well, I died last episode. Kind of.
I'm sorry.
For a moment. When I read that scene, I'm like, finally I died, and then I go, that's right, I did the next scene. Fantasy death, though. Probably a righteous suicide. Right? Because of that. I'm really into like a lot of Japanese movies, and usually, samurais always do the. And it's it's so heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching. Like literally Yeah, I think that would actually be fun. Because everything else you kind of don't do. But generally, death scenes are really fun just because it's like shooting a horror movie. It's a lot of fun because there's so much ridiculousness and guts and blood. And it's just like, we're really doing this, guys. It's the most fun. So death scenes are quite fun.
Hi, Osric.
Hello.
What did you have to do, or what do you think you did when on the scene that you stayed out to the part?
So, I'm pretty sure I've said this in a few interviews already, but so the audition was interesting. So I was living in Beijing, and I was on my way to LA. I can't even remember for what, but I was on my way to LA, and on my way I stopped off in Vancouver because Vancouver's home. That's where my parents are. I have to at least say hi if I'm in North America. So I stopped off for a week. I was on my way to LA, and I get an email from my agent. It's like, hey, when are you still in Vancouver for Thursday? I got a casting director, producer, director session with for Supernatural as just guest star. I'm like, oh, I leave on the Wednesday. I don't know if I can do it. And my agent's like, you really should. I'm like, okay, all right. So I looked through I called the airline. I was like, $600 to change my ticket a day? I was so angry and bored. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And I did it. And right away, that became the most expensive audition I've ever been to. Like, instantly. And so I'm like, I know I'm gonna screw this up. So I think I had like a week where I just practiced the scene. And that became it kind of set the bar for me in terms of how much preparation I did for an audition after that. Because I spent every waking moment doing it, and I filmed it, and I watched it. And I hate watching myself, but it's probably the best thing I should be doing. And I just like watched it, like, no, I don't like that. And it was like dealing with the props, I had glasses on for one scene, and I'm like, okay, this will be my, I'm gonna use this computer, and I went through, I just went through, I kind of made it a whole production. And when I went in there, it was Jim Michaels, Ben Edlund, and I didn't really, I didn't know them back then. It was very nice, and went through it, and it was a very easy audition because I prepared so hard, and so it was very easy. Back then I still had contacts, but I didn't wear them, so when my eyes were going googly, it was real because I just took off my glasses, like I can't see anything. So that was part of it. That was planned, and yeah, because it was such an expensive audition, I just really prepared it. Okay, and then the story goes on. Okay, so I did the audition. I'm like, okay, that felt like a good audition. I don't think there's a callback. I went to LA. It's like I was going to LA for another audition. It was for a J.J. Abrams pilot, and I sent in a tape. They really wanted to see me, so I'm like, awesome, J.J. I was going in on Friday. I was going in on Thursday, I was going in on the Wednesday to prep for the Friday audition, and then after I changed to Friday, and then my agent once again is like, Osric, can you get there like 2 hours earlier? Because if you get there early, we can meet the producers. I'm like, but okay, I'll look into changing my ticket. So I called the airline, I'm like, okay, it's not as bad, but it's still $150. And right at that moment, this became the second most expensive option. So I go, okay. So I change my ticket, I go in, and I'm rushing through LA traffic. I make it there in time, meet the producers, you know, I prepared it on the plane. I didn't sleep the night before, and did a very solid audition. So what happened was Saturday, I get the offer for Supernatural. Like, they really liked you, they want to offer you the role. And I'm like, yes! And then my agent's like, whoa, hold on. They really liked you for the J.J. Abrams pilot too. And here's the scenario. You can go for the sure thing. This is a three episode guest star, or a series regular on a J.J. Abrams pilot. Now, he's like, there's a conflict. You can't take both. Because, okay, and you can't even, it's like, if you go for the J.J. Abrams pilot, it's like, it's not a sure thing. So you can take the 3 episode guest star Saturday. We have to tell them by Monday. For this guest, or for the regular, they want you, but they can't confirm you until after the network test on Tuesday and the studio test on Wednesday. So it was like, I'm like, oh, this is a good problem to have, but I hate it so much. So what happened was, I just thought, like, really, I can't do both? There's no way I can do both? And we just left it on, you know, I told my agents, I'm like, okay, what do you recommend? He's like, well, you go for the sure thing. If you got here once, you can get there again. I'm like, okay. I totally trusted him on it. Turns out it was the same network, the same CW, and the same business affairs guy. And somehow they magically made it work. But I was so close to declining Supernatural. That would have been the worst decision of my life. But I didn't have to. So, thank you, CW. It's so close. This might have been a different person if I made the decision. If I had to make a decision, this would have been a different person. Oh, I don't like to think about that. But,
we're really glad you didn't decline.
Me too.